Welcome to Studio Classroom on the Air. My name is Andrea, and today is a great day to learn something new.
So let's do that together, friends. My name is Gabe.
All right. Well, today I would like to start with a game. It's called Which is Better? Gabe and I will give you two things, and we want you to think about which one you like better. Gabe, are you ready?
I'm ready, Andrea.
All right. The first one is coffee or tea?
Okay. Rebecca and I would argue about this often. I think coffee is better. It helps me to wake up more.
I see. Okay, I do agree with that, but I have to say, I think tea is better, especially living in Taipei, where we have so many tea stands and you can get a different tea every day.
Okay. Here's another topic. What about hiking or swimming? Which is better?
Ooh, that's hard because I love swimming. But I'm going to say hiking is better. It's easier just to go hiking.
Well, I love swimming too, and swimming is easier on your knees, right?
Oh, that's true. That is true. Okay, one more, Gabe. Which is better, cats or dogs?
Oh man, I grew up loving cats, but I think I would prefer to have a dog right now, so dogs are better. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay. I have to answer cat because I have a cat and I kind of like her. Well, I'm learning to like her. I'm learning to become a cat person. And my cat really is the cutest thing. Her name is Coco.
I actually like cats more too.
You do?
Okay, well, friends, we are talking about some perhaps opposing views or different ways you can argue about why one thing might be better than another. And we're going to get into a lesson that does the same thing. It's called
Is Animal Testing Defensible? Now that is a very good question. We're going to learn some interesting points to answer it. For now, friends, please take your magazines and open them to today's lesson. And let's begin with our first reading.
Is animal testing defensible? Consider two opposing views on a controversial topic. Yes. Important differences between humans and animals means animal testing is ethical if done properly. In fact, the benefits of conducting animal testing are so great that it would be wrong not to do it. Animals aren't like people. With the possible exception of some higher mammals, animals aren't self-aware, don't possess consciousness, or experience feelings like people do. That's why it's acceptable when lions eat zebras, mantises kill their mates, or when scientists use mice to test medicines. Regardless, any unnecessary suffering should be avoided. That's why laws like the Animal Welfare Act strictly govern the treatment of the 26 million animals used in testing every year in the U.S.
Hello everyone, welcome to Language Lab. I'm Jack. 我们先来看 controversial 这个形容词，意思是具有争议性的。譬如 The founder of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, is a highly controversial figure. 脸书创办人 Mark Zuckerberg 是一位极具争议性的人物。或者是 The controversial issue of taxes will be discussed by the government next month. 下个月政府要讨论具有争议性的税务问题。再举个例句 When you go to parties, it is advisable to avoid controversial topics such as politics and religion. 你去参加派对时，最好避免谈到有争议性的话题，比方政治和宗教。接着来看 ethical 这个形容词，意思是合乎道德的。譬如 No matter what country people live in, they expect their president to have high ethical standards. 不论住在哪个国家，人们都会期待他们的总统具有高度的道德标准。Ethical 也指职业道德，譬如 Jackson knows it is not ethical to share his prescribed pain medicine with Barney, but he has done it anyway. Jackson 知道跟 Barney 分享医生开给他的止痛药处方有违职业伦理，但是他还是这么做了。再举一个例句。Many philosophers write about the lack of ethical behavior in the world. 很多哲学家都谈到世界欠缺有伦理道德的行为。Okay, let's get back to our teachers.
Thank you, Jack. Well, your teaching is not controversial. We always appreciate what you have to share. So the title of our lesson is Animal Testing Defensible? Now, we've said that word many times already, but let's take some time to pause and look at what the meaning is. If something is defensible, that means it is able to be thought of as good or acceptable. And then it can be defended or protected.
That's right. You can kind of give reasons for why it exists or why you should do something if it is defensible, right? The opposite would be indefensible. So some people would say the animal testing is indefensible. There's no reason you should ever do it. There are other things that are defensible or indefensible. Slavery is indefensible, okay, in any form. Racism is indefensible. However, now people are talking about if you can change the definition of racism to mean other things or broader things, and you might say that that perhaps is a defensible argument. Anyway, friends, think of another way or situation where you might use one of these words.
Now, if something is defensible, it would have opposing views. And when you have opposing views, you have different sides. And of course, for controversial topics, there are different sides. Well, our article starts by looking at the yes, saying that yes, you can test on animals. It's okay. But there are important differences between humans and animals, and that means animal testing is ethical if done properly.
That's right. There are important differences between humans and animals. Can you think of any, friends? One is that humans are able to commune or have a relationship with our maker, our creator, God. Another is that we are able to care for and protect the earth and nature, including animals, in a way that other animals cannot. But there are other ways that humans are different from animals. Friends, maybe you can think about some of those ways and talk about them in English.
Well, let's skip down in our article. It says animals aren't like people. With the possible exception of some higher mammals, animals aren't self-aware. So that shows us a little bit more about the difference between animals and humans. Now, how do they know that animals aren't self-aware?
You know, I looked this one up. I was like, how do we know which animals are self-aware? Well, there are different tests that people have used. One is called the mirror test, or I think it's called the mirror self-recognition test. And you can look that up, friends. But it involves animals looking in a mirror and seeing something about themselves that's a little bit different. And then instead of thinking it's another animal, they look to that part of their body and realize that something is different. So maybe that's one way they test how animals are self-aware.
Okay. Well, regardless if animals are self-aware or not, any unnecessary suffering should be avoided. So, of course, if people are going to test on animals, they want to do it in a way that does not make more pain than there needs to be.
Now, speaking of pain, there are animals in the animal kingdom that do cause pain to other animals, right? Like our lesson mentions the lions and the mantises that kill their mates, right? And so this is what happens in the animal world. These are just some examples of how animals are different from humans, okay? We have more to learn later, but right now it's time for us to go to the info cloud.
Hi friends, welcome to InfoCloud. Rex, do you believe that aliens exist? I watched a video last night of Air Force pilots claiming that they saw aliens.
I really don't know. There hasn't been any hard evidence to prove they exist. But over the years, people have claimed sightings of unidentified flying objects in the sky.
So we simply don't know. But let's talk about the term hard evidence.
Evidence is something that you see, experience, or read that causes you to believe something is true or that it really happened. Hard evidence is tangible proof that what you believe is true.
For example, on crime shows, fingerprints at the crime scene can be taken to a lab and tests are done to provide hard evidence. The hard evidence helps convict a suspected criminal.
Or we can say, several people suspected the accountant was stealing money from the company, but there was no hard evidence.
Yes, another term for hard evidence is hard facts. So next time you watch a thriller or crime show, make sure to look for the hard evidence before deciding who committed the crime.
当警察和检察官在办案的时候，一定会寻找嫌犯作案时的 hard evidence 铁证。Evidence 是证据 ，hard 是很硬的意思。Hard evidence 就用来代表人们所发现非常清楚、确凿的证据，让人一看就会相信。There was no hard evidence to prove he was stealing. 并没有任何实际的证据显示他有偷窃的行为。Hard evidence 通常是非常清楚的铁证。西方人甚至用 hard fact 明确的事实来代表 hard evidence， 让这两个用语可以交替使用，意思是一样的。这就是今天的 InfoCloud， 我们下次云端见。
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Animal testing, take 1.
If you need to break up with your girlfriend, but you're not sure how, well, maybe we can give this a shot. See how she responds, and then you can see maybe how your girlfriend might respond. I'm sorry, baby. I know we've been together for 5 years, and there's really no reason to break up, but I just want to do something new. Is that okay? Yeah, totally fine, right? Friends, now you know what line to use with your girlfriend if you need to break up.
Cut!
What?
Dave, what is that? That is not animal testing.
No?
No! I think we need to continue with today's article.
Well, she did a good job.
Well, she did, but you were testing out a line?
Is animal testing defensible? Nearly every medical breakthrough in the last 100 years has involved animal testing. Nothing can replace the research value of using a living test subject. Would it be ethical to withhold potentially life-saving medicine from billions of people because developing it would require animal testing? Scientific facts save us from making poor decisions based on the strictly sentimental beliefs that animals behave like humans. The benefits of strictly regulated animal testing, however, are indisputable. Future generations will be thankful for the advantages they'll enjoy as a result of animal testing today.
"好，我们再来看 breakthrough 这个字，意思是突破。譬如 The researchers feel they've made a breakthrough in diabetes treatment. 研究人员认为他们在糖尿病疗法上有了突破，或者是 The world needs a breakthrough in the search for energy sources other than fossil fuels. 除了化石燃料以外，世界还需要在能源探索上有所突破。再举个例句 The peace treaty that was signed by the two countries is a historic breakthrough in their tense relationship. 这两个国家签署的和平协议是双方紧张关系里一个历史性的突破。最后再来看 withhold 这个动词，意思是扣留或是不给。譬如 People typically withhold payment for work done until they are satisfied with the job. 人们通常会等到工作完成，令人满意为止，才会支付工资。或者是 The government withholds money from everyone's paycheck for income tax. 政府从每个人的薪资支票中扣钱来支付所得税。Withhold 也指隐瞒，例如 Doctors should not withhold medical information from their patients. 医师不应该对病患隐瞒医疗资讯。Okay, let's get back to our teachers.
Thank you for that breakthrough in teaching, Jack. We appreciate what you have to share. Well, friends, we continue looking at different facts or different ways to support the fact that it's okay to test on animals. This part of our article starts by saying nearly every medical breakthrough in the last 100 years has involved animal testing. Now, just try to think about some of those medical breakthroughs. They have happened because people have tested on animals.
That's right. So nothing can replace the research value of using a living test subject. That is true. You're not going to test on something dead and expect it to have the same effect on a human body. And if you want to know about why animal testing on certain animals is effective for understanding how it will react with humans, you might need to do some more research on your own, friends. But we continue here with a question. It's a rhetorical question. That means the answer you should just kind of know. Would it be ethical to withhold potentially life-saving medicine from billions of people because developing it would require animal testing? The implied answer is no, that's not ethical.
Exactly. Well, our article continues by saying scientific facts save us from making poor decisions on the strictly sentimental beliefs that animals behave like humans. Now, here we see that adverb strictly. Strictly sentimental. Now, if you follow something strictly, that means that you follow the rules.
That's right. That's how it was used earlier in our lesson. And we hear, and actually in the next sentence, it's used in that way as well. And yet here, strictly sentimental, it kind of means limited to the following adjective. So it's like completely or only. So if you were to rephrase this, we could say poor decisions based on the completely or only limited or sentimental beliefs that animals behave like humans. That belief is purely sentimental.
And if something's sentimental, it is prompted by your feelings. So the benefits of strictly regulated animal testing, however, are indisputable. So here we see strictly as you must follow the rules. There are rules in place. We talked about the Animal Welfare Act, and they strictly govern the treatment of the animals. All of these things are in place so that animals are not going to be hurt that much, but the help that they offer is worth it.
That's right. That's what our lesson says anyway. This is the view supporting animal testing, right? Tomorrow we're going to get into the opposing view. However, speaking of animals, I think it's kind of fun to see which animal you are most like. If you were an animal, what animal would you be? Let's see what some of our teachers had to say about that.
If I were an animal, I think I would be maybe a whale. Whales are really big. I'm not that big, but whales are really friendly, and I like to think that I'm pretty friendly. Whales also are very social with each other. They like to sing songs to communicate with one another when they're in the ocean. Also, whales often have lots of other little fish around them. The whales don't eat those little fish. The whales usually eat much smaller things. But when the whale is around, sometimes the other little fish can be protected from other predators when they stay close to the whale. I like the idea of being someone who provides safety and protection for others, so I would like to be a whale.
Well, sometimes we say in English if somebody is a really good swimmer that they swim like a fish, and I do love being in the water, so maybe I could be a fish of some sort, or a dolphin. I like dolphins. They're really playful animals, really fun, and I think they like to be in groups, and I definitely am very social, so I would need to be a social animal. Or I could be an Arctic tern. Those are birds that do the longest distance traveling of any animal in the world, and I love to travel.
I would be a dog, specifically a Labrador Retriever. Why? Well, to me, these are the most kind-hearted, loving animals that I've experienced. I used to actually have one of these dogs. Her name was Cookie. I noticed when I gave Cookie her food that she would rather have me pet her than actually eat. She wanted attention. She wanted to be loved. That has always stuck with me. And there are a few reminders for me here. This reminds me to be available to people, to care, to be kind-hearted, to give and receive love. So thanks for these really important lessons, Cookie.
Well, friends, as we end our lesson today on animal testing, we'd like to share a phrase with you. To feel like a guinea pig. Have you ever felt like a guinea pig? Now, to understand this, let's first look at what a guinea pig is.
Well, right, a guinea pig is a small rodent, kind of like a rat or a mouse or a hamster. There are so many different kinds of rodents, right? In Chinese, you might say 天竺鼠. My sister, when she was in middle school, she took home some guinea pigs from school. Actually, they were part of her science class. The science teacher, I guess they didn't need them anymore for their experiments in class. And so they said, hey, who would like to take some guinea pigs home?
Oh, that's great. Well, guinea pigs are great pets. But have you ever felt like a guinea pig? When you feel like a guinea pig, you feel like people are testing you or trying things out on you.
That's right. Actually, that's what it means. That's because some people, like in my sister's class, they used guinea pigs for experiments. So in Chinese, you wouldn't say 天竺鼠 to mean an animal used for experiments. I guess you might be more used to saying a little white rat, 白老鼠, right? But it's the same idea. When we say, I feel like a guinea pig, it's like I feel like I'm just being used as a test for something.
Well, Gabe, have you ever felt like a guinea pig?
Yeah, not really intensely, but I have been part of, people's surveys, but that doesn't make me feel like a guinea pig. It makes me feel like they value my opinion. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But there are certainly people who have felt like a guinea pig at different times in their lives. Maybe they feel like they're just being used.
Yeah, exactly. Well, friends, we hope that this helps clarify what that phrase means. And tomorrow we're going to continue our article talking about animal testing. So be sure to join us again here on Studio Classroom.